Hey, this is Jeff, and welcome back to the Coito Ergo Sum DLC crossover. I came down to the river to have a drink of water and a bite to eat after spending the night at the ranger station on the way to take Daniel the map of the Grand Staircase. I could pretend that I just happened to spot an untagged map marker on this hill, but the truth is, after we found 5 out of 6 survivalist caches last week, I looked up the last one on the Fallout wiki. Assuming I can find my way up. Scorpion. Something red on the compass. Just a mantis.
Move on. I don't like to linger in this place.
Don't worry, we'll go back to the Narrows soon. I just want to check this out. This looks doable. Yep. Can she make it up that? Yep. There's the map marker. The red gate.
I know you are eager to leave Zion, but perhaps you might find peace if you stayed. Think about it. Yes?
The cache is supposedly behind some trees, right there. Along with the remains of the survivalist himself. Some decent loot. The survivalist's rifle, a unique variant of the service rifle, and his last journal. Now that we have his whole story, here it is. The father in the caves was a soldier named Randall Clark, who came here shortly after seeing his home city destroyed in the Great War. Knowing his family was dead, he became a hermit, forsaking all contact with other people. When a group of Spanish-speaking survivors took refuge in the valley, he stayed hidden, but helped them survive by leaving things like antibiotics where they'd find them. Later, an experiment with a parasitic fungus got out of control in Vault 22. The residents evacuated and came here, but some of them were already infected, which is why the spore plants are here in Zion. They were desperate and killed and ate some of the people Randall had been helping. He started a one-man guerrilla war, and over the next year he whittled their numbers down from more than 100 to less than 40. The Vengeful Spirit Stalks the Canyons note we found at the Vault 22 guard camp tells the story from their perspective. But their society was a brutal dictatorship, and some of the vault dwellers were basically slaves. At least one of them managed to escape before they left the valley, and Randall gave her shelter. They fell in love, and she got pregnant, but she died in childbirth along with the baby.
Oh, Father, guide and protect us, your humble children, as we labor in the vineyards, and make us strong to resist those who would steal Zion from us.
They had nothing to do with the mother and son in Daniel's religion, but I can see how you might try to mentally connect the dots and assume they were the same. Anyway, 10 years later, more than 40 years after the Great War, a group of children arrived in the valley after escaping from a mysterious facility that Randall never seems to have learned much about. He helped them the same way he helped others, leaving them useful gifts, but always staying hidden. And since they spoke English, he also left them books and notes with survival tips and philosophical advice. When he finally realized he had terminal cancer, he came up here to die where no one would find him, but not before leaving one last note saying the father would be silent from now on, but would always watch over them. And here's the interesting part. I tell them that I'm giving them Zion as a gift to make up for all the sorrows of their lives so far and all the sorrows man has visited on men. I tell them to be kind to each other and modest. I tell them never to hurt each other, but if someone else comes along and tries to hurt them, to strike back with righteous anger. I sign every note the Father because, well, just because. Your people are the descendants of those children. Probably intermixed with what was left of the Hispanic survivors, judging from your language. And speaking of linguistics, Joshua said the dead horses were the descendants of pre-war tourists and residents of a place called Res, possibly short for reservation, which would explain why the dead horses dialect is more heavily tilted toward English, German, and Navajo, while yours is more based on English and Spanish. But my point is, why should it bother you to discover your traditions and philosophy are based on the teachings of a compassionate and courageous human being instead of a capricious supernatural spirit? To me, that's even more inspiring. Of course, I admit I'm fascinated by that kind of story because I publish a culture and geography magazine. Can I take some pictures of you?
This is something of the time before.
As an editorial aside, I wrote this line of dialogue as Belthan, sort of a satire of the way I perceived the DLC as playing fast and loose with Native American stereotypes, not knowing that years later, YouTube Jeff would monologue about that very topic while doing a playthrough. But it is what it is. Don't worry, the camera won't capture your spirit or anything.
That is a superstition. I am happy to share my sacred images.
Great. Can I get a full picture of your body paint? You know, for anthropology and stuff?
Is this pleasing to you?
Very much so. Now, could you pose or move around a little? Maybe do a tribal dance or something?
I will do my best.
Now, unlike male models, female models do pose nude even if you don't have a nude body replacer. But a while back, I did a non-nude patch for Coito Ergo Sum by request to make life easier for YouTubers who wanted to review the mod without doing a lot of censoring. It doesn't cover the DLC crossover, but I used the same technique so we can see Waking Cloud's body paint without the digital blur thing. The reason the photoshoot script handles male and female models differently is a long story, and I explained it during the original Coito Ergo Sum walkthrough, but the super short version is, I'm lazy. I would have put in the extra effort if it was necessary to see Follows Chalk's tattoos, but it wasn't. As I mentioned during his photo shoot, Zion tribals have different undressed bodies than other NPCs, so it doesn't look weird if you loot their armor and suddenly they'd be wearing shorts and a t-shirt. And how do we get down from here? The way we came up, obviously, but where was that? When we turn in this quest, I think that's when we have to commit one way or the other to help Daniel evacuate or help Joshua kill the Whitelegs and take out their leader, Salt Upon Wounds, who everybody says is a terrifying monster of a man. Waking Cloud, you still back there? Yeah, she couldn't jump that gully. No, there she is. Good. Looks like the ground texture hasn't loaded up here. That happens sometimes when you cross an exterior cell. Hello. Ambush. Not a very good ambush. Excuse me? Who's that? Random dead horse. Yeah, the Animal Friend perk affects me and active companions, but not other NPCs, even if they're in a friendly faction, because they're not in the actual player faction. So the Whitelegs dog was hostile to him, even though it wasn't hostile to Waking Cloud or me. Something's moving down by that campground, and it looked big. Cazadores. After Waking Cloud's near-death experience last week, that's a hard nope. There's the caterpillar mound, which means those cazadores are near the spore plant gully, I think. I bet the game despawns them and the spore plants while you're doing the quest for whitebirds, so they don't wander over and get into a scuffle with the Yao Guai when you're on your way to kill the ghost of Shi. I don't see them anymore. Maybe I'll go back and check that out when she's not with me. But right now we need to get this map back to Daniel. You keep saying that I'd like your family, like there's something you want to tell me and you're hoping I'll ask. And I'm sorry if it seems like I've been ignoring it, but we've been pretty busy the last few days. So what's the story?
I do. A fine husband and 3 children. I miss them each day, but I take comfort in knowing they are safe.
Safe? Where are they?
When we learned that Salt Upon Wounds had defiled Zion with his presence, Daniel ordered the children, the old, and the sick evacuated from the camp. My husband volunteered to lead the hunters that went with them for protection. I try not to worry about them. But we have had no news for so long, and Daniel seems sad when I ask him about it. Sad and a little frightened.
That's troubling. He told me that children and the elderly were already evacuated, but he didn't mention anything specifically about your family. I could talk to him. Maybe he'd open up more to me.
Perhaps he will. I sometimes feel he thinks he must protect me. If he has news, I would know of it.
That's all I wanted to talk about.
Then I will look forward to our next speaking.
Once again, getting in the middle of people's personal business. Hopefully this won't be as awkward as follows Chalk's dilemma. There he is.
I'm glad to see you're still with us. How can I help you?
Tell me about Waking Cloud's family.
What do you want to know exactly? I'm sure she could tell you much better than I.
Well, let's ease into it. She said one of her births was difficult and you helped her through it.
Oh, well, that's true. Waking Cloud is a talented midwife. She certainly brought more children into the world than I have. But there are some problems she's never dealt with. One of them came up when she was having her third child, and I really didn't do much. I'm surprised she mentioned it.
Did you help the rest of her family leave Zion?
I did.
Oh, no. What's the matter? Did something happen?
Her 3 children are safe. They made it north weeks ago and met up with New Canaanites heading east. Her husband didn't make it. He died protecting their children from a white-leg attack. Do not tell Waking Cloud. She is one of the only Sorrows who can communicate easily with us, and her tribe needs her to be strong right now.
It's her husband. Don't you think she has a right to know?
To everything, there is a season. Who are you or I to put this heavy burden on her now?
Aren't you the guy in charge around here?
That's not an easy thing to be. I don't like doing this. But I can't see any good coming from telling Waking Cloud her husband died.
Look, dude, if you won't tell her, I'm going to.
You'll do what you'll do. I won't try to stop you. I'd ask only that you consider the repercussions of your actions.
All right, we'll talk more later.
Until then.
Yeah, much less awkward than I'm not sure what to do with my life.
Katubiu.
About your husband. I just talked to Daniel, and I'm afraid he was killed by whitelegs during the evacuation.
What? No. You must be mistaken. Daniel would have told me.
I'm really sorry. He kept it from you because he thought the grief would distract you.
How dare he? What gives him the right? I thought Daniel was my friend, but he cares nothing for the Sorrows.
That's not true. He was doing what he thought was best for the tribe, even if it wasn't the best thing for you personally. It wasn't an easy choice for him.
Perhaps. I will have to have a very long talk with Daniel when all of this is over. Thank you for telling me this truth.
Daniel, wait.
I'm glad to see you're still with us. How can I help you?
Well, Waking Cloud isn't very happy with you right now, but whether you agree with me or not, she deserved to know. On the bright side, I checked on everything in the valley and got you the map of Grand Staircase.
I appreciate it. Well, that's it. This is all we need. Now all that's left is to quietly pack up and try to get out of here without being noticed. That's assuming that Joshua won't try to stop me. And that he hasn't talked you into fighting the Whitelegs despite what I've said. Don't worry, I don't hold it against you. You're an outsider. Fighting seems like the practical solution. I'll tell you again. There's more at stake.
Whether you decide whether the Sorrows should fight or flee, your decision will set their destiny irrevocably in motion. You will be unable to finish any remaining quests in Zion once you make your decision, so choose wisely. Well, maybe you haven't talked to Joshua since the last time I saw him, or maybe he just didn't tell you what I said because I was tripping on Datura T and he didn't take me seriously, but the Legion's warped morality poses an existential threat to my business. I already assassinated Kaisar, Linnaeus is next on my list, and I have a Securitron army at my disposal to finish the Legion for good. The Whitelegs are only causing trouble here because they're trying to join the Legion. Once that's no longer an option, they'll slink back to the Great Salt Lake and leave you in peace. Killing Salt upon Wounds would be a quicker way to get rid of them, but a lot of sorrows and dead horses would die in the attack. I agree with you. Leaving Zion, at least until the war is over, is for the best.
It may be. I hope it is. To tell the truth, if something goes wrong, more sorrows could die in the escape than in Joshua's proposed attack. Even knowing that, it's a risk I have to take. With your help and Joshua's, even if we're attacked, we can defend the sorrows and escape. We'll be traveling at night in small groups across the valley. With luck, the Whitelegs won't know what's happened until the next morning. But if the Whitelegs realize what's happening, Joshua and I will need you to help us escape. Don't hold back. I promise you, the Whitelegs won't. Once our path is clear, I'll give you everything you need to get back to the Mojave. But the Pine Creek Tunnel must be collapsed behind us. It's the only way to delay the Whitelegs' pursuit long enough for us to get a head start. Good luck, and may God be with us.
You don't think telling me more sorrows might die during the evacuation than in a straight-up battle with the Whitelegs was information that might have factored into my decision? Right, you probably did. As we just learned a minute ago, telling the whole truth isn't exactly his strong point. Well, fine. You got your way, so we'll just have to do what we can to get them out of the valley safely. Waking Cloud has returned to the Sorrows camp, and we apparently get everything that was in her inventory. We lose her companion perk. And we get a loading screen. Interesting.
Daniel must have made it to the tunnel by now, but there are sorrows all over the valley. We have to help them and get Daniel out of here.
I'm not sure if Joshua is like other companions and can die in hardcore mode, or if he's immortal for the duration of the quest, but an extra gun wouldn't hurt. And he seems like a guy who'd just as soon go out in a blaze of glory as live with the memories of things he did when he was in the Legion. And we're getting quite a few optional quests to make the way safe for the evacuees, so I definitely want to do all of those. Who am I to deny him the chance to redeem himself with a bit of extreme but justified violence? All right, I'm with you. Let's go.
Right.
Joshua has given you the Way of the Canaanite perk. While he's in your party, any .45 caliber auto pistol has less spread and is twice as likely to score critical hits. Oh my. Santa came early this year. That syncs perfectly with my character stats and the way I play. But I'm over-encumbered. Bear with me while I do a little bit of inventory management. Yeah, the 1911 has higher DPS than the Enfield because of the high rate of fire, even though the damage per bullet is lower. Even with the reduced spread, it probably won't be as accurate at extreme range, but I have a feeling we're going to be in the thick of it, so that probably won't matter. I'm not sure if stuff I drop here will be persistent, so I only dropped things I could live with losing if they despawn. I ate most of my food, drank the purified water, so my hunger and thirst meters should be A-okay for a while. I kept any unique DLC items and quite a few other potentially useful odds and ends. The heaviest single item I still have is the Desert Ranger combat armor. You might think I'd use it since Waking Cloud gave it back, but the extra damage threshold just isn't worth the hit I'd take to my run speed and sneak. And if you don't know how big a hit that would be, I'll put a link to my sneak and detection analysis and run speed analysis videos in the description. Or just trust me, it'd be a bigger hit than I'm willing to accept. I'm only down to 226 out of 250, so I'm glad I took the strong pack perk last week. But I still have quite a few things I could drop in a pinch, like the 12.7mm submachine gun. I have one at home, I just kept it in case I run low on ammo for my other guns. And yeah, we'll switch over to the 1911, see how it does. I was really excited when I found it, so it'd be a shame not to use it once, especially while we have Joshua's companion perk going for us. And with that, I think we're ready to roll. If anybody wanders onto this island while I'm gone, they're going to think they won the lottery. Now, we got a lot of optional quests along with the main quest to evacuate, and like I said, I want to do all of those, so let's see what they are. That's the map marker for the main quest to evacuate. Retake the bridge at Pine Creek. Kill Whitelegs, desecrating the Sorrows burial ground. Talk to the Sorrows at the burial ground. Kill Whitelegs at Ranger Station Osprey and release the prisoners. Alright, a sensible order. We found the burial mounds with Fallows chalk the first time we went to the Narrows. There it is. Ranger Station Osprey is on the other side of the map, I think. We just found that last week, right? There it is. Right up the hill from here. Okay, makes sense to do that first. Retake the bridge is probably the last thing to do because it's right around the corner from the tunnel where Daniel's waiting. Alright, sounds like a plan. Make Prisoners of War the active quest. 2 objectives. The Whitelegs and the prisoners, I assume. Alright. You ready? Let's do it. Joshua, you're definitely a badass, but we need to talk. Charging in like a maniac doesn't really jive with my stealth tactics. I need you to hold your fire until I attack.
What's the point?
The point is, sneak attacks do a ludicrous amount of bonus damage. He's already set to follow closely, so I think we're ready to move on. Okay, I can't find my way around this damn cliff, so if you really want to teleport into the middle of them, let's rock. Fast travel is currently unavailable from this location. Oh no! I think maybe this is where I got the idea for Leah and Rondo's escort mission, because misery loves company. I got some hate mail about that, let me tell you. Karma's a bitch, ain't it? This looks like it. Yes. I should have remembered it was right around the corner from the general store. Not that that would have mattered, since we can't fast travel. Well, except we could have walked right down the river and found that. Oh well. There's one right there. Missed.
Die where you stand!
Wamuwerna yequi quadu wakade.
You can no ninkumpami.
Prepare to meet your maker.
Well, it's definitely not a sniper weapon, but it does the job up close and personal. Okay, that's all of the Whitelegs. Let's free the prisoners. Okay, good deal. Forget something? Where'd she go? Ran around behind me, I guess. All right, on to the next. Any chance? No. Fast travel is disabled for the duration. Well, I guess we'll walk. Okay. The game crashed and I had to do everything over from where Joshua force greeted us at the Caterpillar Mound. Everything went pretty much the same, except I didn't have nearly as much trouble finding the ranger station. We now rejoin your regularly scheduled programming. There's a Whiteleg. Ooh, damn, Joshua. Nice shot. Unfortunately, even a sneak attack doesn't one-shot them with this, so it might be better to snipe the first one with the Enfield and then switch back when all hell breaks loose. White leg. Hey! Oh yeah. Sneak attack headshot does one-shot them. But I saw you spawn in.
Die where you stand!
You tell him, Joshua. Sorry about looting during combat. I know it's a bad habit, but I just can't break it. Level up. I'm pretty sure there's still one alive up there, so I'm kind of surprised. The game usually won't bring up the level up screen until you're out of combat. Anyway, let's put, well, I was thinking about leaving energy weapons and survival a few points shy of 100 just in case I find skill books, but that's just a habit I got into during the Skill Stash series. Screw it. Get both of them up to 100 and put the rest into explosives. And this is a perk level. I should have thought about this in advance, but I didn't. Nothing new at level 42. Bear with me for a minute. Well, I think about jury rigging just about every time I get a perk, but now that I have Leslie working at the saloon, I can get anything up to full condition even if I don't have the right spares. It would have been really handy 25 levels ago, but now it's kind of water under the bridge. The other thing I'm thinking is, I never took any VATS-related perks because I don't use VATS much when I'm just playing, but I use it a good bit when I'm making videos because you get more cinematic camera shots. And I have 2 more DLCs left to play, so that might be worth it. I could take Commando to improve my VATS chance with the Enfield, and Gunslinger or Grunt would improve my chances with the 1911, but Sniper increases your VATS headshot chance with any weapon, so that feels more broadly useful. Yeah, I'm doing that. And there is still... No, I don't think that's a white leg. Yeah, green on the compass. What do you have? The game's throwing a lot of 12.7mm at me. Maybe I should switch over to the SMG. The 1911's not bad when things get hectic, but these just shred at close range. Assuming the enemies don't have high damage threshold, which most of the white legs don't. And there's a friendly around here somewhere. Dead horses. And it looks like he found more white legs. Give him a hand.
Die where you stand!
I think that was Joshua. Another 50 cal. I'm glad he got him before he shot me. My DT's good enough to shrug off most SMG fire, but this thing would really hurt. I don't think the dead horses made it.
Take it!
Not surprising if they got hit with the anti-materiel rifle. Joshua got that one and I didn't even see her. And another one somewhere. Sorry, gonna loot in combat again. More 12.7. And a plasma grenade. She must have been ready to throw it when he got her. He's just all kinds of saving my ass today. Thanks.
You friend of Soros, yes? Together we smash white legs that defile holy places, yes?
No. I'd really prefer it if you guys head for the Pine Creek Tunnel and meet up with Daniel. Joshua and I can take care of the defilers just fine by ourselves.
Since you are friend to Soros, we go. But you kill white legs.
You bet. And there they are, right there. I assumed they'd be up by the actual cairns. I guess that's a better headshot chance since I took the perk, but it's still not very good. Come on, I want at least 50-50.
You can't...
Close enough.
Thank you.
ni kumpa mi. Boyka ker.
Okay, I think I pulled my own weight that time. And that quest's done. 130 rounds? I'm doing it. The last optional quest is to take the bridge, and I imagine that's going to be pretty hectic. So much for that brilliant strategy. How about the other side? Can we get under here without falling into the river? Looks like we can. They'll never know what hit them. Except they're not up here anymore. We have map markers, but I don't see them. There's no zoom with the iron sights on this. Not that I'm planning to snipe with it, I just want to get eyes on them. Is that here from before and the bodies despawned, but the weapons didn't? I think we're close. I see red on the compass. There they are.
Prepare to meet you.
Yep, that works nicely. Where's your buddy? There. Fish in a barrel. Is that all of them? I expected retaking the bridge to be a massive cluster like Hoover Dam. Okay, more of them. Just not quest targets. Try another new toy.
Frag out!
I think Joshua got him before the Molotov landed, but it was still pretty dramatic. Yeah, we're going the wrong direction. These are just random white legs scattered around the map. For some reason, the game didn't automatically make getting to the tunnel our active quest. Yet we're miles away. Alright, let's get back over there. Here we go. No bears. They're presumably busy digging out their cave. Still back there? Good. I wouldn't be surprised if we run into a few more white legs before we get to the tunnel. Yep. We'll do this one your way.
You can ni kumpa mi.
Die where you stand!
You can ni kumpa.
That's it!
That worked, but I'm probably going to stick with stealth after we part ways. Something going on up there. If you guys were running up the hill to ambush us, you're a little late. Oh, they're fighting Sorrows. Shit. Sorry. Try to help carefully.
That's it! Where you stand!
Si, corriendo.
Did he make it? Yes. Good. Dude, I'm really sorry about the friendly fire. Oh, we should be... Game just auto-saved for me. Not sure if that's good or bad. Joshua, I think this is it. Deal with salt upon wounds. Huh. I thought that was only if you sided with Joshua to wipe out the white legs, not if you evacuated. Sure enough, there he is. But he hasn't spotted us yet. Well, the new toys are fun, but I'm not messing around with the boss. Hello? Thank you.
Take it!
Had enough?
And that's why you don't bring a power fist to a gunfight. But a group of lightly armored enemies, that is a job for the SMG. And done. What did Salt Upon Wounds have? Nice hat. So both rumors were true, Power Fist and Spear. And the Power Fist is a unique variant. Causes bleed damage. I'll never use it, but it'll look nice in the trophy case. Definitely having that helmet. The rest of it's pretty standard stuff. Now, where's Daniel?
Please, have you done everything you can for the Sorrows? Are they all accounted for?
We released the prisoners and told Dancing Flame to come back here while we got rid of the Defilers. I haven't seen any others, except the guy I shot by accident. He's okay, though. He survived 2 white legs and a sneak attack from me, so he's one tough bastard. Anyway, I don't have a census list, so I can't guarantee all the Sorrows made it, but if you're just talking about the optional missions you gave us, they're all done.
You've done more than I could have ever hoped for. Thank you. And may God protect you for all of your days. Goodbye.
Detonator added. Joshua Graham has left your company. And apparently we get everything he was carrying. Lost his companion perk, obviously. Daniel has given you a detonator that is set to detonate the C4 placed above the mouth of the Pine Creek Tunnel. Firing this detonator will collapse the passage and prevent any white legs from following Daniel and the Sorrows out of Zion. Which is fine, because they're heading east and I want to go west, but they were supposed to tell me how to do that. And I can't move. Oh, please tell me the game didn't crash. Good. The camera's just frozen to force me to use the detonator.
And so it was that the conflict between the New Canaanites and the Whitelegs was finally resolved. The Courier's involvement had tipped the scale, shifting the fragile balance of power.
After the Whitelegs drove the Sorrows from Zion, they celebrated by destroying all traces of the valley's former inhabitants. They appealed to the Legion for assimilation, but were denied. Their failure to eradicate the New Canaanites in Grand Staircase and farther up the Colorado had not gone unnoticed. The Whitelegs made a half-hearted effort to find the New Canaanites, but were driven off by dead horses trained in the ways of Joshua Graham. The Whitelegs lost all hope of joining the Legion and disintegrated into a number of petty raiding bands, leaving Zion Valley a polluted cistern.
Daniel succeeded in leading the Sorrows out of Zion, as he had wanted to do from the start. The Courier protected the Sorrows during the evacuation, ensuring that most reached their destination unharmed. Over the weeks and months to come, Daniel would see to the Sorrows' resettlement in Grand Staircase. Their adjustment to their new home was not without difficulty, but eventually the Sorrows came to accept the loss of Zion.
Having helped Daniel and the Sorrows escape from Zion, the dead horses returned to their home at Dead Horse Point. The tribe continued to learn from the New Canaanites, and over many years built a flourishing community along the banks of the Colorado. Though the tribe's bond would endure, it was Joshua Graham's legend the dead horses would revere, not the tenets of New Canaan's faith.
Already weakened by several seasons of bad trading, the Happy Trails Caravan Company was initially discouraged by the results of its expedition. The fate of New Canaan and the evacuation of the Sorrows from Zion made the prospect of trading seem fruitless. When Daniel told his family about the exploits of Happy Trails employee the Courier, however, New Canaan decided to repay the company's kindness. Twice per year, New Canaanites made the dangerous journey west to trade with the company in the city of New Reno. The Happy Trails Caravan Company could not survive on such trading alone. But the new Canaanites' generosity made tough times go easier.
Follows Chuck took the courier's words to heart and decided that he would behold the sights and sounds of distant lands with his own eyes and ears. After returning to Dead Horse Point, he quarreled with his family and other tribe members about his ambitions. One morning, they awoke to discover that Follows Chuck had set off alone, westward, into the wilderness. He was never seen again.
Waking Cloud was distraught when she learned of her husband's death, but took comfort from her tribe and the compassion of the new Canaanites. She forgave Daniel for having concealed her husband's fate from her, and learned to accept his fate. When her grief faded, she took a husband from the Dead Horse tribe. At her bidding, he stayed close to home.
After leading the Sorrows from their home in Zion to safety in Grand Staircase, Daniel continued to wonder if he'd made the right choice. He spent his life evangelizing the beliefs of his people to a new generation of young men and women, as his ancestors had for centuries before him. He was happy with his family, but for the rest of his life there were nights when he awoke with sadness to find he had been dreaming of Zion.
And with that, the courier walked out of the history of the tribes of Zion and back to the gathering storm of the Mojave Wasteland.
Whether or not you consider that the good ending is a matter of perspective, I guess. I think things turn out slightly better for the Happy Trails Company and slightly worse for the tribals if you side with Joshua. This footlocker contains some unique items that you could presumably only get if the relevant characters die. Joshua's pistol, Follows Chalk's hat, Daniel's hat and outfit, Joshua's armor, Daniel's scripture, and Zion outfit patterns that let you make any of the various tribes' outfits with the War Dramatic back home. That's why I wasn't worried about collecting the actual outfits from fallen friends and foes when I was looting and picking out unique DLC items. And I'm over-encumbered. Excuse me while I do some inventory management. A glass-half-empty person might think Follows Chalk got a bad ending because of the advice I gave him, but to me, never seen again just implies he found something he liked better out there beyond the valley. And Waking Cloud's ending was pretty good. I can't imagine it would be better if you lied to her. Anyway, since we didn't get booted back to the Mojave after the ending slides, I'm gonna call it a day. But next week, I can make a final pass around the map to see if there's anything interesting I missed. I know there were a few map markers I never unlocked. And then we can head back to the Mojave and see about these War Dramatic patterns and all the film we have in the can. Maybe see if we can find that airplane crashed on the hill. Anyway, thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next week.